that heavy, foggy feeling the moment you open your eyes. It's not just age catching up. In my 25 years working with seniors, I've seen these subtle morning changes become the first warning signs of rising blood sugar, signs most people miss until it's too late. Research in diabetes care shows they can start hours before you even wake. Today, I'll reveal 7 dangerous morning diabetes signs and the simple steps that could protect your brain, your heart, and the independence you've worked a lifetime to keep. I've watched too many patients over 60 shrug off their mornings, not realizing those small changes could be silent damage to memory, mobility, and mood. For some, it starts with a little more thirst, a little more stiffness. For others, it's the day they can't finish their walk. The good news? Research-backed habits can slow, even reverse these changes in weeks. This video is for education only, so always check with your doctor. But if your mornings feel different lately, what you'll hear today might be the turning point. 1. Morning brain fog. You open your eyes, and it feels like someone's pulled a heavy curtain across your mind. For many people over 60, that's not just a slow start. It's what I call the morning cortisol storm, a surge of stress hormone that hits right after you wake. Cortisol's job is to help you get moving, but after 60, it's like the timing switch gets faulty. Instead of a gentle sunrise for your brain, it's more like a hurricane slamming into your memory center, the hippocampus, the very part that helps you think clearly and remember names. In one large study of over 1,000 seniors with type 2 diabetes, researchers found that high morning cortisol was tied to faster memory decline, even in people whose blood sugar seemed well controlled. In other words, this can start affecting your mind before any blood test shows a problem. I've seen a small, simple habit change the way my patients start their day. Before your first sip of coffee, take 5 minutes for gentle stretching, just enough to wake up your muscles, and drink a glass of water. That light movement helps your muscles pull in extra sugar from your blood, and the water signals your body to ease the cortisol surge. Helen, 72, tried this for 3 weeks. She told me, "It's like the fog lifted by mid-morning. I could read the paper without going over the same line twice." And here's the part most people never connect. If your body can't unlock energy from breakfast, that fog doesn't just linger. It turns into a wall. And that's where the next danger begins. 2. Sudden morning fatigue. You've had breakfast, but instead of feeling ready for the day, your body feels heavier, slower, like you're walking through sand. That's not just being out of shape. It can be a sign your cells aren't unlocking the fuel you just gave them. Here's why. After 60, many of us develop what's called post-receptor insulin resistance. Your insulin is knocking on the cell's door, but the lock is rusty. In one study comparing younger adults with seniors, people over 60 absorbed 39% less glucose into their muscles, even when insulin levels were high. That means the food you eat just sits in your blood longer, leaving your muscles running on empty. I've seen a simple breakfast shift make a real difference. Within an hour of waking, get at least 10 to 15 grams of protein, something your body can use right away. Think Greek yogurt with berries, or a couple of eggs with a slice of whole grain toast. Protein stabilizes blood sugar and helps your muscles tap into steady energy instead of riding the highs and crashes of a carb-heavy meal. Frank, 68, used to skip breakfast or grab a muffin with his coffee. By mid-morning, he'd feel drained, sometimes even lightheaded. When he swapped that for yogurt, berries, and a sprinkle of nuts, he told me, "I didn't realize how much I'd gotten used to feeling tired. Now, I finish my walk and still have energy to do the garden." And here's the thing. If your muscles can't get the fuel they need, other parts of your body start paying the price, especially the nerves in your hands and feet. And that's the next morning sign I want you to notice. 3. Morning tingling in hands and feet. That faint buzzing, pins and needles feeling in your toes when you swing your legs out of bed, or in your fingertips when you reach for the kettle. Most people shrug it off, thinking it's just sleeping funny on a limb. But for many seniors, it's an early whisper from your nerves. Overnight, high blood sugar can stir up inflammation in your nerve pathways, especially the tiny fibers in your hands and feet. Researchers have found that in older adults with diabetes, Symptoms like fatigue and neuropathy were reported by nearly half of participants, and often first thing in the morning. It's like static in the electrical wiring of your body. The signal gets fuzzy before it fades completely. The good news? You can calm some of that static. Omega-3 fatty acids, from sources like salmon, sardines, or a quality fish oil supplement, help reduce the inflammatory chemicals that irritate your nerves. Aim for 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA per day. I usually tell my patients 2 servings of oily fish a week, or a daily supplement if that's easier. Rosa, 70, told me her toes used to tingle so much in the mornings that she'd keep slippers by the bed to warm them out of it. 3 weeks after adding salmon to her dinners twice a week, she said the sensation had faded to almost nothing. But here's the part that makes this sign so dangerous. Nerve damage doesn't always hurt. Sometimes it just quietly steals sensation and your balance. And when balance starts slipping, something else can happen overnight that makes mornings even riskier. 4. Unexpected morning sweats. You wake before the alarm, and your skin is damp, maybe even clammy. You weren't having a nightmare, the room isn't hot, so why does it feel like your body just ran a race? This can be part of something called the dawn phenomenon. Between about 3 and 8 a.m., your body releases a wave of hormones, cortisol, growth hormone, glucagon, to prepare you for the day. In younger years, it's like a gentle nudge. But after 60, it can become more like a sudden shove, pushing your blood sugar up by 20 points or more before you even eat. One study in diabetes care found that over half of adults 70 and older experienced these pre-dawn spikes. And here's the tricky part. They don't always show up on routine tests, because by the time you get your blood drawn, the spike may have already passed. You can help smooth this hormonal surge by giving your body a steady source of energy before bed. I often recommend a light evening snack that combines protein and healthy fat, like a few almonds with half a banana, or a small slice of cheese with apple. This can prevent your body from overcompensating in the early hours. George, 74, used to wake sweaty 3 or 4 mornings a week. Once he swapped his late-night crackers for a handful of almonds and a few berries, the sweats all but disappeared. But here's where it gets more serious. Those morning hormone spikes don't just make you sweaty. They can pull water out of your cells, leaving you with another warning sign that's easy to ignore. 5. Waking with thirst or dry mouth. You open your eyes, and the first thing you notice isn't the light coming through the blinds. It's that your mouth feels like cotton. No matter how much water you drank yesterday, it's as if you crossed a desert overnight. That's often a sign your blood sugar stayed high while you slept. Excess sugar in your blood pulls fluid out of your tissues, sending it to your kidneys to be flushed away. By morning, your cells are as parched as a sponge left out on the counter. In a 2019 study on older adults with diabetes, thirst was one of the most common morning complaints, right alongside fatigue and joint pain. And it's not just uncomfortable. Mild dehydration can affect memory, raise your heart rate, and make your blood thicker, forcing your heart to work harder. A simple fix can help. Within 15 minutes of waking, drink about 500 milliliters, roughly 2 cups, of water, and add a pinch of electrolyte powder or a squeeze of lemon with a dash of sea salt. This helps replace minerals lost overnight and supports your body in rehydrating your cells quickly. Anna, 66, told me she used to wake up so thirsty she'd finish a whole bottle of water in one go. After starting her morning with mineral water, she said, "It's like my body wakes up faster, and I don't get that mid-morning slump anymore." But thirst is only one sense that can change overnight. Sometimes, your very vision can blur, and that's another morning sign most people over 60 don't connect to blood sugar. 6. Morning blurred vision. You sit up in bed, glance at the clock, and for a moment, the numbers aren't sharp. Maybe it clears after you blink a few times, or after your first cup of coffee. But that moment of fuzziness can be more than tired eyes. Fluctuations in blood sugar, especially morning spikes, can actually change the shape of the lens in your eye. The fluid balance shifts, and your vision temporarily bends out of focus, like a camera lens that keeps refocusing on its own. In 2018, Researchers publishing in ophthalmic research found that these early morning changes in glucose were directly linked to temporary vision changes, particularly in people over 60. And here's the challenge. Because the blur fades, many people never think to mention it to their doctor. One of the simplest ways to help? Keep your blood sugar steady through the night. A small, fiber-rich snack before bed, like a few slices of cucumber with hummus, or a handful of berries with a spoonful of chia pudding, can slow digestion and help prevent those big swings before morning. Derek, 70, used to joke that he needed a warm-up lap before reading the morning paper. When he started ending his evenings with a fiber snack, he told me the headlines came into focus right away. But vision isn't the only thing that can go off when your body's been fighting all night to balance blood sugar. Sometimes, you can feel it in the deep ache of your muscles, or in the sudden cramp that wakes you before sunrise. 7. Early morning muscle cramps. It's still dark, and you're just starting to drift awake, when suddenly, your calf seizes like a knot being pulled tight. You sit up, rubbing the muscle, waiting for it to ease. Most people call it a Charlie horse and move on, but for many seniors, it's a clue to something deeper. Overnight, if your blood sugar runs high, your kidneys work harder to flush it out. That extra urination can drain minerals like magnesium and potassium, both of which your muscles need to contract and relax smoothly. Without them, your muscle fibers misfire, tightening when they should be at rest. A 2020 study in the Journal of Diabetes and Metabolism found magnesium deficiency in nearly 1/3 of older adults with diabetes, and when that deficiency combines with nighttime fluid loss, mornings become prime time for cramps. The fix starts with your dinner plate. Include magnesium-rich foods in your evening meal. Leafy greens like spinach, nuts like almonds or cashews, even a small square of dark chocolate. Pairing these with a source of potassium, like roasted sweet potato or avocado, can give your muscles the fuel they need through the night. Linda, 71, used to get cramps so often she'd keep a heating pad next to her bed. After adding spinach to her omelets and a few slices of avocado to her dinners, she went weeks without a single morning cramp. And here's what all these signs have in common. They're your body's early warning system. They show up quietly, but if you know how to read them, mornings can go from your most vulnerable hours to your strongest. Morning is the body's most honest hour. It hasn't had time to hide the truth yet. It simply shows you how it's doing. Those first moments after you wake can hold the clues that protect your brain, your heart, and the independence you've worked a lifetime to keep. I've seen patients catch these signs early, make small changes, and feel years younger within weeks. I've also seen what happens when they're ignored, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. If even one of these 7 signs felt familiar to you, don't brush it aside. Write it down. Bring it to your next checkup. Share it with someone you care about, because the morning warning you noticed today could save their tomorrow. If this video helped you see your mornings differently, let me know in the comments. Your story might be exactly what another senior needs to hear. And if you want to keep your mornings strong, watch next. 3 morning habits to protect your heart after 60. I'll see you there.